All right, everybody. Bill Spotta here. I have got alongside me for this today's bi-weekly AMA. I've got Mr. Eric Anderson.
Hello there. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
We've also got the man himself, G-Spot.
Hello.
We've also got Sebastian in the house.
What's up?
And the guy who's trying to take G-Spot's position, Mr. Justin.
He's having a hard time finding it, though.
All right, so we've got some questions from the community. We will maybe reserve some updates for the end once we're done through the questions. So we will start with questions first. These are questions that have been sent in, so if you have any that you would like answered, Sebastian will be monitoring the chat there in the Discord, in the Pi Lounge. If you do have a question, feel free to jump in there, throw a question in there. No guarantee we'll answer it just because it just depends on his ability to keep up. If there's multiple people at the same time, he might not get to all of them. Or if we are on any sort of time constraint by the time we get your question, we may have to save it for next time. So that being said, G, you want to start us off?
Yeah. So obviously now every projects are kind of inside of the Pi token. The migration is taking place via DApp. But one of the first few questions we want to kind of dive into a little bit. All four projects taking the utility, the rewards, and combining it into one Pi token. Someone sent in a question, just a bit worried that this would overload the smart contract for Pi token, Apple token, all of our tokens. But that's not the case. So I wanted to give you guys the floor here to kind of talk that out and kind of let them understand. Eric?
Sure. I mean, so the smart contract is not going to be in control of, what aspects people are going to be given and things they're going to be allowed to do based upon their token holdings. The smart contract for Pi is basically just for the token itself. The rest of the stuff will be handled outside of that smart contract. It'll be handled in the platforms that we build and the gateways and things that we utilize. So.
Right. So, with the actual contract or what's powering the token behind Pi, yes, there will be times where the utility will be where Pi, the token itself, is being used in a platform, or it could be something that is requiring, transfers of sorts or validations of sorts, things of that nature. But there is no concern. From if I'm guessing right, based on what they asked, their concern is that the level of volume or potential volume with so many platforms and utilities built into this project, running simultaneously could cause, possible issues with processing in the contract. I'm not familiar with any sort of issues that are even possible in regards to that, because the way the platforms are built, the utilization of the Pi token within the ecosystem, there really is no, it'd be like asking, and forgive me if I'm not trying to point out the obvious, but it'd be like saying, well, with Cake and Pancake Swap, Cake is used at a high level of volume, at a very massive rate, all day long. It's used for so many different parts of Pancake Swap's platforms, ecosystems, various different places within the project, and it runs smoothly and efficiently, and there is no ledger issues or log issues or transactions causing higher gas or anything like that. There is no reason, because and Eric, you might be able to answer this question, but it does keep a log, right, of a certain amount of transactional data and things like that in the smart contract sometimes. So, like, for example, with Mini Doge back in the day, remember it had to wipe out the log, and that was kind of an issue. But those are issues that would be in the construction of the contract, right? Those are not issues we're gonna see anything like that.
No, these don't keep any type of ledger or anything that's utilized in a day to day or anything.
Right.
Not
So
at all.
we don't have any potential hiccups, I guess
No.
you could say. Okay.
Sweet. Well, that's good to know. So everything's safe and sound there with the merge. So obviously the vote passing last week, the migration in full swing now. With the Launchpad or Pi Lab rebranding over from Moonforce, could we expect possibly to see other established Launchpads pushing pre-sales onto PiSwap now, or will Moonforce or Pi Lab now still be the exclusive gateway into 2.0?
Well, that's a great question, and that is actually one avenue or facet of the actual strategy for PiSwap, right? PiSwap strategy, of course, is to easily go out business to business, tell our story, give them the documentation that they need to be able to build for the benefit of utilizing our platforms. However, it does not stop us from going to Unicrypt and partnering with Unicrypt. I think a great example of that would be, I think, SafeMoon Swap is one option now on Unicrypt. I know BuySwap is another one on Dex Tools. So you'll see some of these swaps. One of their strategies is to get with the existing launch pads with volume and really partner to be able to launch a token or launch a new pre-sale project into their liquidity pools on the swapping platform. In that case, those conversations have started. We are absolutely going to go down that road of partnering with other launch pads as well for the benefit of the entire ecosystem. And it's going to do two things, really. I mean, one of the things that we have a challenge with in those initial conversations is going to be, clearly if they want the 2.0, they would have to, put something in the system that says if you're launching onto PiSwap, just ensure that you're using a 2.0 contract. If you're a developer and you're not entirely sure, please click this link and it takes them to our documentation and where they can obviously create their token and things like that. However, if they are looking to just do a regular token as well, they could do that without any sort of integration onto PiSwap. It just wouldn't process the fees as a 2.0. It would just process the fees as a one of the project in the same capacity. So there wouldn't be any issues there. But that is absolutely something they're going to start seeing, and we're going to start having those conversations once we have more of a clearer, detailed path as to when or which platforms are committed to adding us, because it's just a matter of getting added. I will say there's no question in my mind that when SafeMoon Swap went out there and did it, I guarantee you they went to DX Sale, they went to other places. I'm sure there's reasons why they haven't integrated yet, and they've only integrated on one. And we're starting to learn what those potential, nuances might be to get listed or get to become an option as a drop-down option for which exchange you want to list on as your pre-sale goes live. But our conversation and relationship building is going to be most forefront of our focus, and continuing to build more of a deeper understanding as to how we make it a win-win. So it's not just all about, hey, add our decentralized exchange to your launchpad, but how could we win-win? How could we work for DX Sale? How could we work for Unicrypt? How could we work for Pink Sale? And the list goes on, obviously. So we've got a pretty good strategy there, and I'm actually looking forward to the next few weeks to see the results of that.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be exciting. So kind of pushing over a little bit when we're talking, PiSwap. We've mentioned that a couple upgrades and optimization has been made to PiSwap. Obviously, we know that there was a solidity audit last week, which is actually in the official links on the Discord channel there, so you can view it there. But is there any plans down the road to have a couple more audits done on the swap itself, on PiSwap, as we move forward in the future, down 3 months, 6 months, a year, and kind of adding to our audits?
Well, first of all, before we get too deep into that part of it. I think we need to congratulate on our nice solidity, clean audit. So I don't think people see or understand or possibly even realize the brevity of that audit. And that audit is, if there is not anybody in this community that's out there right now that is even sitting there saying, I'm really gonna take notes and I'm gonna really watch to see how DevTeamSix moves this needle forward. If you're sitting there and you're wondering these questions, right? You got to have some metrics. You got to have some measuring sticks, right, Eric?
That's right.
And so if you really want to see, okay, yeah, we went through X, Y, and Z to get to here, right? But here where we're at today, if you want any sort of indicator, any sort of iota of what exactly is DevTeamSix doing and what type of things are they putting out there and executing on, and at what level of quality is that execution, all you need to do is look at that audit. That is one of the cleanest audits.
It is the cleanest audit.
It is the cleanest audit.
There were no issues found whatsoever. You got to give it to the team for that. The guys really dug in. They really did make sure that we learned from our past and we learned from our experiences, and they put together a great set of contracts.
And they even upgraded some things.
They absolutely did.
So it's not like we just said, oh, let's take the same thing we had before and let's just get it re-audited.
No, we made some major changes, actually.
We made some upgrades, and it was the cleanest audit I've ever seen. And I feel like I've reviewed hundreds of audits, even a lot of other project audits. And it was the most, probably the cleanest thing I've seen in a long time. So congratulations to
nothing found.
Congratulations to Eric and his team. It is another indicator. I think if anyone's watching and saying, what are we doing? How is this stuff we're making, these moves that are happening, these transitions that are taking place, how is it going to benefit everybody in the end? If you want indicators, that, my friends, is one of the biggest indicators. That maybe one of the first ones. You're about to see the second one. You're going to see the second one, probably in the next 2 days, and then you're going to see another one next week. And I hope by the time those other two come out, you guys are really seeing it from the rooftops, and
everyone gets excited as we are.
Getting the 2,000-foot view, because it's some exciting times. It really is. Go ahead.
No, so I mean, and obviously, as we kind of
oh wait, I didn't answer your question, but go ahead. What was the question again?
So I was going to go with that question was, will there be down the road any more?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
The best thing for us to do, and this is for everybody to truly understand, is look, if you stay stagnant in anything, you end up becoming obsolete, right?
That's right.
So we are not interested. I know there's roadmaps out there. I know there's concepts of what is the evolution on a more of a core piece by piece basis. But when it comes to each platform, when it comes to PySwap or it comes to PyLab or any of these things, the auditing process is ongoing because the evolutionary process is always going to be executed going forward. So in order to evolve, it requires us to continue to verify and validate and do the things that are necessary to ensure that we have one of the most rock solid platforms in retail crypto. We can't touch retail crypto and we can't touch the masses without having that level of confidence that we raise and we become the bar. We become the standard that everybody is required to be at least measured by. And if we can make sure in our processes and procedures as we move forward that we religiously, step by step, we're always making sure that we're executing audits when they're triggered. We will trigger those audits, we'll execute them, and we'll always have a release of what the results are. But super excited what we saw, with that audit. That is just such a breath of fresh air.
Definitely. And down the road as well, I know we kind of touched on this in the past, but we are still planning to get the Skynet for the CERTIC audit up running live. Is that correct? That's kind of the follow-up question here for this question.
Yeah. I think with Skynet, I think Devin had some conversations with them on that. We need to follow up with him on where we're looking on Skynet. But really, Skynet, what it does gives you that score.
Yeah.
So absolutely, we're definitely looking into that to see what that'll take to put that on.
Sweet. Cool. So, obviously we've merged now. When we kind of, get to the point we're ready to expand Swap 2.0 to future chains, where's the team standing on the thoughts of bridging? Will we have new token supplies on the future expanded chains, or, what's that look like from our side?
Well, full transparency, Eric and I haven't gotten too deep in the weeds on it yet. Do you have any thoughts on that you want to share initially?
No, as far as expanding on the different chains, I mean, we've got one token. We've got it on the BSC chain. We've got it on the ETH chain. I saw someone asked about bridging instead of having the ETH, but I mean, really, we may go a step further and just bridge between the two. The one that lives on ETH and the one that lives on BSC. So they're actually still living on both chains. You want to have a market, for each one, so it's tradable. So it kind of accomplishes that. But no, we haven't gone down the path any further as far as different tokens. Since we only have the Pi token at this point, it's really what we've been focused on.
Well, and just like anything else, right? If you run a pros and cons list on this concept, and we've very much discussed this matter in other ways in our past, and one of those things that always seems to kind of come back up, I guess you could say, is, if Pi Lab is going to have an ETH network, it's going to have the Avalanche network and all these other ones and so forth. The real question becomes, how do the reward from Pi Lab, the 2% in tokens, how do those get paid out over time, right? So that's wherein lies the rub, I guess you could say, for us. And that's the challenge that we deal with. I mean, I'm sure some community members creatively can come up with ways that feel like it's balancing the right way for everybody. But it's been a challenge, right? So if you've got great Ethereum, launches and great BSC launches, where do you put your tokens? Where do you want to stake your tokens? You want to stake half on ETH and half on BSC, or you want to stake some on ETH, some on Avalanche, some on Sol, and some on BSC? I mean, that was the biggest challenge we came into, is us all being original parts of the legacy token and the BSC side. Naturally, we want to be able to progress with the project, right? But if we're going to require people to actually make a choice and be able to put these tokens, spread them out, diversify them amongst multiple chains, it's going to potentially become very strategic at that point. And the idea is that as a long-term holder, you could build a foundation that is pretty solid and isn't ever changing. And I think that's just something that we need to consider as well. Not saying that is a absolute, because of this, there's no way we could do the bridging. I'm saying it's just a consideration that needs to be made down that path of seeing the bridge come to life and having that actually play out in real life.
Definitely. Nice answer there. So let's switch it over a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Cherry. Is there any possibility? I know that we have not guaranteed down the road that there will be any more Cherry minting, but is there any thought about letting founder passes be able to be staked to earn Cherry down the road for the OGs that have been here, from the very beginnings?
I'm glad you asked. I almost actually dropped this one in the Discord yesterday. But people need to realize that, just because what the potential staking opportunities or potential utilities are of a token today that are known utilities, that are known on the roadmap, that are part of what has been revealed, that doesn't stop from the idea that, we might run a specific Founders Pass month, and that Founders Pass can earn Cherry, or that Founders Pass can earn more Pi. So Cherry itself, also being staked to earn cherry is not out of the question. So don't preclude that won't happen here in the very, very near future. So it would help benefit the people that own cherry are the ones that are going to grow their cherry essentially. I guess you can, multiply cherries, I guess. But the idea is though that we've got a couple utilities actually for cherry planned in the future. I know people know about the blockchain and the allocation to PyChain, and that is one very exciting and very, very important, I would call historical step that we will take in this project. So I think the people that really want to be a part of the bigger picture are going to essentially be a part of that side of the project. But there are other utilities, and these are utilities that, again, just like anything else, I'm not going to even allude to what they are. I don't want to get too deep into it because these are things that Eric and I, again, we've learned so much over the last year and a half, and our growth has exponentially gone to a level that we're very, very calculated at this point. And, realistically, Eric and I are probably the only two people on the planet that actually know what these utilities are at this stage. There might be one or two of our developers that are familiar with them that are here in-house on the team. But these are all things that are planned over the next 6 months to probably 9 months that we'll be utilizing different things. So cherry being minted in the future is absolutely not out of the question. I would highly say that the best chances, if anyone's wanting to know what those opportunities might look like, it will be cherry for cherry, and it most likely will be utilizing founder passes to earn cherry in the future.
Sweet. I'm sure a lot of people are happy to hear that. Super excited for what's to come with cherry and the pie chain. I know I am, but
well, and I think the biggest miss, if there's anything out there right now on the actual entire ecosystem, the biggest thing that people aren't paying attention to is the founder passes.
Sure.
Because people are very deeply ingrained in a lot of the core pieces of the ecosystem, but don't sleep on founder passes. Founder passes were built for a reason. They do have some major access and some major benefits that are going to be here very, very shortly. PyLab will obviously use the Moonforce Founders Pass for PyLab, and we'll be using it for the Pi Founders Pass for PySwap. There's going to be a lot of things that will be available to the Founders Passes that are coming up soon. And I just don't want people to miss the boat on that. I don't want to wait another 3 to 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden our people are like, why didn't you tell us this, weeks ago? But Founder Passes, I think, is probably the most or the least attention is given to those, but they have some of the biggest potential in the future from a benefit standpoint.
Yeah, I'd agree. So a little bit we touched on last week, we introduced the Developers Guild. When could we expect to see our first live developer guild take place in the Discord? Potentially with some of our devs, including Tommy, maybe Devin even.
Goodness, let me figure that piece out, and we'll actually schedule something.
Yeah, and the best piece is we'll get them scheduled
to have a couple of devs in the Developers Guild on Discord, kind of chatting with people.
We'll do it. We said we do a voice chat sometimes, so we're just kind of see what the expectation was when our first one.
So let me just kind of give you the vision on the Developers Guild and kind of what the whole concept was. Given that we just got through the merge, that was step one. Step two is the Developers Guild is something where it's really going to be built around bringing in people within the community that either have one of two things. They either have a suggestion that they see that they feel it could be they found something they think is maybe not looking right, or maybe there's something wrong, or they found a functionality issue on a website or a platform or something like that. So more of the debugging stuff. If they find bugs, they can come in there and they can talk to our development team directly. Secondly, it's going to be other developers that are also creative and talented, and they're in the community, and they're like, hey, I want to be a part of the big win. I want to come in and I want to offer the opportunity for me to assist the team in making things maybe go a little bit faster. Maybe I could take on a certain part of pieces of a certain project and be able to contribute. So this is where the developer guild was to come in. The goal is that it will start out at once a week for about 30 to 45 minutes is kind of the goal in the very beginning. What we will do is we will evaluate it. If there is a tremendous amount of people and it's well attended and there's a lot of people that are coming in there and they're wanting to participate, then obviously we'll expand it as we need to. But in the beginning, it'll start out once a week. If it's got expanded twice a week or whatever the case may be, it's really going to be whatever the demand is, from the community as well as people in the community wanting to participate. We're going to accommodate that. So I'd say
We'll start it next week.
Yeah, the earliest is next week.
We'll come up with a specific date and time that we'll do the first one. We'll make sure it's announced.
Yep. So expect next week then to see your weekly goal reports coming out from DevTeamSix as well as your first developer guild. Super exciting. Right now, I want to move over to kind of the tokenomics. We have the 20% sell tax going forward. And honestly, I don't think we'll really say as we kind of pare that down to the lower, 11% on the sell tax normally, right?
That was 10%.
10%?
Yeah.
10, 11?
Yeah.
So obviously 20% is not going to remain forever. I don't think we really will touch on what? Well, why? Why not? But the question here that was kind of sent in is if we could lower the buy tax while the sell tax is heightened to kind of increase the buy pressure. Is that something that we might be able to discuss?
What is the current buy tax? Is it 10?
10.
It's a 10.
It's 10, 20 right now. We can talk about that. Obviously the taxes, the majority of the taxes are all going to the holders themselves in the form of BUSD reflections. So it's a win for all the holders, even when people sell. But we can certainly talk about it, but no promises on it. But we'll toss it back and forth.
Okay. I'm sure we'd like to hear that. So question, I kind of want to move over to the community side of things now. You began to touch on it yesterday, Bill, but want to ask you, kind of rallying the troops here. What can the community do now? All 4 projects are living in one ecosystem, one mega token with huge potential. What can the community do to unite really together here now and help DevTeamSix carry this to the goalpost?
Well, that's a great question, and this truly is something very near and dear to me because community that works together wins together, right? And the only way that we're going to get there is 2 things. There's 2 steps to this process, and we are going to be starting this next week. There will be a session that we'll do next Tuesday. It's hosted by you and I and Eric, if Eric is available. We are going to start what I call sessions that allow us to educate our community on all the talking points of the project, right? All the pieces that if I was out there and I was talking to people in another community, or I was talking about the project on Twitter, or if I was how to really touch on the pieces of the project that are going to gain attention, the parts of what we're doing that people are going to really be interested in. And as we get through this stage of it, which is going to start next week, it'll go on for about 3 weeks. We'll do it once a week, and we will host it with whoever is willing to be a part of that team, essentially. There will be a special role that is given to people who attend those meetings that will be in Discord. They will be a specific role that they earn. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to earn any special NFT someday, but wink, wink, we never know. The bottom line is, though, The goal is to educate our community members to truly be equipped and be 100% resourceful, as well as based in a sense, to be able to effectively tell our story from soup to nuts, essentially spectrum to spectrum. And in the end, the goal is you're going to see new Moonforce, now previously known as Moonforce, now PyLab will come out. You're going to see PySwap come out. Now, I saw PySwap earlier today. Absolutely can't wait. I'm super excited about you guys seeing PySwap, the new PySwap. And I, to be honest with you, I haven't been all that excited in the past. I mean, and no offense to anybody, we were running a gun at 120 miles an hour trying to keep up with stuff, and now we've put all hands on deck, put everything in that priority sequence that I talk about, and guys, it is working like an absolute record player plays music, right? So what we're seeing is exciting. Those things will come out in the next 2 weeks. By the end of the third week, then our goal is to be able to go out and tell our story within the communities and tell other people within crypto, help our community win. And then we'll start running some very exciting opportunities for that team where those people are actually winning and winning big because they're becoming a solution, a part of the winning. The end of the game that we're trying to win is going to be a team that is well versed on everything they need to know in order to attract the right people in here. Now, I'm not saying these are going to be people that are out there shilling. I'm saying these are people that we're getting and building a stronger foundation behind the projects. A lot of education will be put into literally step-by-step roadmap items, pieces of where the project wins, its uniqueness, things that we're doing that's going to really become are kind of what we're known for, right? And that is important that we can focus on those things because this day and age in crypto, any token project, any other, well, I don't care if you're on the Ethereum side or you're on the BSC side or where you're at really specifically, they all are essentially a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. I don't know how many of the same damn game I'm going to see before I realize it's all the same game with different lipstick, right? And that's something that is really to our advantage because people can look at us and say, well, the lipstick might look the same, but what's working underneath is entirely different. And that's why it is such a big window of opportunity that if we bind the forces together, the stronger we build that influence into retail crypto as we move forward. We're going to be working alongside that on the B2B side. We're going to get those people that attend those meetings every week for 3 weeks. Those people are going to be equipped to actually go into a development project and talk to the developers and say, hey, I'm part of this other community, and here's why you guys should be paying attention and possibly utilizing PySwap and 2.0 as the technology that is powering your project. And here's the things that you need to understand and why it's going to change the health and the authenticity and no artificial stuff and all the talking points, right? So I'm very excited about it. We are going to launch that next Tuesday at 3 p.m. PST. So anybody that is interested in that, mark your calendars. It'll be with me. I'm going to try not to talk as much, but we will be walking you through an absolute course outline essentially. So we'll actually try to maybe do a little preview of it before, maybe drop a little video or something this week to kind of talk a little bit more in detail as to what to expect. But it is a 3-week series. If you attend all 3 weeks, you earn the role in Discord. So you will obviously establish yourself as part of this team, but it will become something very special. And I'm very big and very loyal to the people that are always willing to step up and always willing to take the ball the extra mile. So I'm excited to see how that turns out.
That's super exciting. I can't wait. Let's talk a little bit about Metatopia, but also the reward tokens. So a couple people here have been talking, Jerry included. He's talking all the time to us. But could Apple Pie ETH be possibly used in place of Topia token to be added to Pi utility? Is that any sort of option? Is it viable? Does it even work with the smart contracts? Is that, that's the big question in Metatopia right now.
What do you mean by in place of Topia token?
Using the Apple token in place of Topia token.
So
As it earned to earn it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so if the answers are yes, it could. That is the answer. I mean, if you're asking a yes or no question, could it be technically used if we wanted to use it? Yes. It would also have the balancing issue of the ratios and the weights, because what people have to understand, Topia token is built and scoped around utilizing PancakeSwap's white paper and how they built the weight ratios and the burn ratios for Cake token. Cake token, in my opinion, and I could be just my opinion, I know Eric believes in this as well. We're very, very, very fond of the structure, the emissions rates, and how they buy and burn based on the admin fees and all the things that go on with what powers Cake token as a reward token. And it's stake to earn, essentially, on PancakeSwap is how Cake token is earned. This is play to earn. These are also very similar to a stake to earn for Topia token. So the reason that it would really throw off the algorithm that we've built into the burning functionality and the ratios and how we've built those tokenomics behind Metatopia, not just Metatopia, but Topia token. So Apple has the element of another pool that's emitting. And when you add in the two and you start to add weight on top of weight, it becomes a lot harder to maintain the burn ratio, the burn weight percentage. Cake burns at a certain percentage every single day. And the way we built Topia token is that it would actually burn at double that percentage every day. To do that with Apple, is it possible? Yes, it is possible, right, Eric?
Anything's possible.
Anything is possible. We could do it. We could probably do it the way that it's built right now. The only downside to it is that it would be very, very difficult to go back now and have to manually be adjusting and base it on daily variance, essentially, of volumes and things of that nature to keep the ratios right. And so us being able, we'd essentially have to add in like a manual adjustment to tokenomics daily because of the emissions from Apple. And that would probably put us into just not a very effective way to maintain and manage the reward token for the game over time. So that's why, is it possible? Yes. Is it the right thing to do based on the framework we've already put together? Absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
Okay. Switching over to a different side of tokens, user here was questioning one, I don't think this is really a soft shell, but asking if Pi token could be used on like shopping.io or Dripto to be purchasing consumer goods. Is that something that's good for crypto projects? Is that something that, is a valuable thing to maybe look into down the road for us with the Pi token? Is that good for project success? And if so, what is the likelihood that we can kind of run that way some in the future?
Well, here's the answer for that. And I'm being very, very transparent because it's important that this is our relationship that we have with the community, right? Is just being very transparent. Step one in anything, and I think we're realizing this as we go, right? The focus and everything needs to be kind of built around its ability to succeed, right? And so, yes, could we go out and integrate Pi token right now with BitPay or one of those payment systems that integrates us with Shopify or integrates us with any of those. In fact, we could probably reach out to our partners, because I don't know if people recall, but the original cream pie was set up on Shopify to be accepted as a currency on Shopify. We certainly could reach out to them and have them swap the contract, and now it becomes that the integration is the new Pi token. And quite frankly, we will. But I don't want people's expectations of that as a roadmap item or that as like a catalyst for us, because it's not that we don't see that as an opportunity, but in order to get great, you got to go step by step. Step one is B2B. Step one is B2B, Pi swap, volume, Pi lab, execution and adoption for all developers and new projects. Then we move into, obviously, we're going to have the blockchain staking game for all the various things that we've got going on in there. And then after that, Metatopia, the virtual world. And then right after that, we've got a couple things that are coming up, surrounding the blockchain, surrounding mini-pats, surrounding some of the other pieces here that are also in development right now. So in order to be great at something, you got to be able to make it a absolute priority and a focus, and you are doing everything you have to execute on it. So adding that to the roadmap or adding that as a part of what we're already doing is just going to dilute the potential, I guess, long term for what we're doing and how things would work out. So I think we're going to go ahead and reach out to them. We'll get them to convert so that Pi is acceptable to any merchant that uses Shopify. That's fine. We can do that. But for it to be effective, it means we got to put the resource around B2B conversations with actual storefront owners and people that are on Shopify for them to actually take in Pi as a potential currency that they want to accept. Now, granted, there is a way to, pitch those guys on the fact that, hey, if you take Pi token, it opens you up to a whole nother round of buyers that would buy off your store, for various different reasons. Now, there are even other logistical issues that need to be discussed as we do something like that, and on Shopify. If the store owner decides they want to take Pi, that's great. But they can also decide that they either want to hold the process transaction in Pi token, or they want to make an immediate swap and convert it into, BNB or convert it into USDT or something like that. So as you're doing that, you're now opening up another door because it's a one-way street essentially, right? So if the shop owner decides they want Pi, great. But if they decide to hit the little toggle inside of their admin panel there, and they say, swap on point of sale transaction, it's going to swap that Pi into BNB, and you're just going to see sales hitting the market. So there's a lot of timing, and for us to really go out and do something like that, it would have to be a focus. It has to become something that we're really focused on, and just to be very honest with you, I'm 100% all in on what we're doing already. I think those are some of the biggest catalysts we can all look forward to and get excited about, because not only are they doable, but they're realistic, and they're things that we can do in the strategy that we have already planned. So adding anything like that for now would probably not be a focus. It might be done it's a logistically in place, but it's not going to be something we would focus on.
No, that makes perfect sense. I definitely agree. Last question I have here on my sheet, and then we can kind of speak a little bit about what's coming here at 5 o'clock. With the Discord being token gate, I've seen this kind of all around. How will we be able to attract new investors moving forward if they're not able to chat inside with the community? What is that going to look like? I know obviously we have newsletters, we have blog posts, we have the read-only function in Telegram. You can still read only in Discord, but still have some community members now or investors now that are nervous that the new holders coming in over the next month, 6 months to a year are going to have difficulty kind of investing in Pi. with the token gated Discord. So, your rebuttal to that?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, nobody has a perfect answer. And I truly understand the concerns because, I am a marketing person. I am a, go out there and market and scale a business. That's my whole career. That's all I've ever done is take a $2 million revenue stream business to a $100 million revenue stream business. That's what I do. So for me, I do logistically see these little potential nuances, and it's no different. It's like in the marketing world, right? From the digital marketing world, if you have a blue button versus a green button, you're going to get a different click rate. If just these little tiny adjustments or potential road blocks that could run in the way of potentially a seamless ability for someone to come in, buy in, impulse, get excited, and want to be a part of something. So there's a couple strategies we're going to utilize. First and foremost is we'll use not a ticketing system because ticketing is for support, but we will use an ask a question system in Discord where it actually is part of the welcome screen. So when people get there, we'll put it in the welcome screen. We'll also put it as in every section, there will be an ask a question at the bottom of every section channel for them to use where they can ask questions in there. Those are all monitored by our mods and our chief mods and the DevTeamSix team. That is our first step to seeing how that goes. And I want to be very honest. I don't believe that I know the perfect structure. I don't. What I do have is the passion to get it right. So if that means we have to make adjustments as we're moving forward, if it's daily adjustments, if it's weekly adjustments, believe me, I am not a fan of going out there and spending digital marketing money or marketing money on anything where the conversion rate is really just roadblocked by how people are used to engaging with something. So one thing that I want people to also understand is our social channels are extremely valuable. So our community working through our social channels, how they engage with our social channels. I don't know how many people are on this call right now. 70, right? So if we post on Pi Twitter and we don't have at least 70 retweets right now, then we've got a serious community issue, right? Like if you think about that from a logistical standpoint, right? If we're not out there engaging at a comment and retweet level at the very least, those are things that help boost the account into getting into trending streams, into getting into higher priority placements on people's feeds. Whether or not it goes to your audience or it goes to someone who isn't even following us on Pi or Pi Swap's account, to be able to actually go and see a Pi Swap account or the Pi token account show up in somebody's feed, it's going to show up at a higher rate with the more engagement level that it has in a short period of time. So if we're not, looking at other channels, I understand Discord is very important and people want people to engage with the community, and 100% we have not only considered this, but we're going to get it right. We are going to still protect the community. I know you guys feel the vibes right now in the community. It feels awesome. It is so fun to be a part of what's going on in that Discord. You guys are absolutely cool as hell to hang out with and see and talk to, and the vibes and energies. Listen, we didn't get a lot of those bad actors showing up from Telegram anymore. And I think that people see the value and how important that is to the health of our community. So we're going to protect that at all costs, but we're also not going to disturb the potential new investors, their access, their ability to build a comfort level with our community to know that they want to join. They want to be a part of that community as well. So we're working on that. We've got a couple things we're going to implement. We're going to test out a few different things to see how that works. We're going to work with some other people that have some token gated communities and have seen massive success in growing their projects at levels far that exceed any other projects out there, but they're still living in a token gated Discord. And the reason it is, I mean, I was looking at a project last night. Great example. I was looking at a project on the NFT side. I was doing a little research for stuff that we're doing for Legacy Friends. And I was looking at this project, and they've got 10,000 holders on OpenSea, and they've got, I think their floor price was like 8 or 9 ETH, per one of their NFTs. That was the lowest price, but they have a 10,000 person group of people that are holding. Essentially, I think it's 10,000 items, and maybe I think it was 6,200 holders. So I went and checked out their Discord. I couldn't get in because I didn't own any of their NFTs. And the only way in, on the welcome screen, you hit continue, and then you accept the terms, and then you get to the welcome screen and you have to verify that you own one of their NFTs. Otherwise, you see no channels. It's not even read only. It is completely locked off. And this is one of the biggest NFT projects that I've seen go live in the last 2 months. And they're doing a phenomenal job. It really builds that exclusivity for them. And I actually reached out to them, and I got a response this morning. So I'm talking to them about their strategy on what they're utilizing. And they're telling me, they're like, okay, you need to look at your social channels. Twitter is a monster. If Twitter and your community engage with Twitter, it can take you to some places that you never even thought were possible. But the community has to be aligned in parallel with the things that you're doing as a project. And so these are things we're going to these levels, guys. And this is the only way we continue to level up as we move forward.
Good deal. Bullish. Sebastian, do you have anything else for you or for Bill here that might need an answer? Anybody in the community?
No, I think I'm all good for now.
All right. Well, let's talk. We got just a little bit over an hour till 5 PST here. What happens at 5 PST, Bill?
So 5 PST, you're going to see all rewards start to actually process. So anything that's staked, anything in the reward pools, they will go live. They will start earning rewards from 5 p.m. PST on. Now, I do want to make sure you understand that is based on a block number. That is not exactly 50000 on the dot. Is not exactly. It could be 459, 51, and all of a sudden the block hits. It is estimated to be 5 p.m. give or take a few minutes or so, something like that. So please, so there is no confusion, and people don't feel, oh shoot, I got right up till 5 to do it. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that part of it. But the earnings for all things Apple, for Peach, and for Apple, Peach, and Pi, those will start earning immediately. Those of you that are in pools currently, you may have noticed that you're already earning your BUSD. You'll also notice that the WBNB is also in that pool. Just to be clear, the WBNB that is listed in that pool with a 0, it has a metric to it, is for when the donation of platform rewards is made to the pool. So your allocation or your percentage or whatever total unit value of BNB, WBNB that is allocated to your wallet, that is staked, and the tokens that are staked will show up there when those donations are made. We are working, and I'll say it again, we are working to get that value as well to be dispersed in real time. But at this point, the volume is super, super, super low in terms of the rewards that are coming from there. A month from now may not be the case. It may now make sense for us to turn it on real time. But at this point, to have it be real time, it truly would be, it wouldn't make sense to do it real time because the cost and what would be absorbed in being able to disperse those in real time versus doing them once a month. So we're trying to maximize the output of WBNB that is donated to the pool so that you guys get the maximum amount of WBNB possible right now. As volume increases and as WBNB goes up to a much higher number, and we're seeing amazing looking rewards coming through, it will be in real time. So you'll be able to go in there today and harvest your WBNB, be able to go in there tomorrow and harvest it again. I think the only thing that you just have to keep in mind is I think it's always going to be where if you harvest your WBNB, you're actually harvesting your BUSD at the same time and your rewards at the same time. So just keep that in mind. But some people don't care. They love the fact that they could restake the reward and take their WBNB and their BUSD and be able to use that for whatever purpose they'd like at whatever time. So, but yeah, that give you an answer.
Okay, and then just to kind of follow up, obviously yesterday was the 5th with the BNB rewards for PiSwap, but because everybody was unstaking and moving around, that once you unstake, you're unqualified from that from those BNB rewards. So we just decided to push it, so we didn't push out those rewards yesterday. When do we expect? Do we have any idea from the team as of right now?
Well,
what that'll look like when the next round will go? Are we going to wait a month and then disperse them all, or any thoughts there?
Yeah, so well, you forgot to tell him you were the only one that stayed staked. G-spot. No, I'm totally kidding. No, we do have to address that because that was potentially a very sensitive issue. Essentially, because what we always say is that we're all in this together, right? And just because we're going through a migration on the day that we typically do something or something like that is going on, it is truly not fair for people to miss out on something because they're actually trying to do something else. It's easy for our side or some of the more quicker people that have the time to be in this all the time to be able to get positioned properly, to be in line for things. But again, it's no holders left behind. It's all in this together kind of feel. So we are going to make that disbursement. It will take place. What do we got? Today is the 6th. It will take place on the 12th, which is next Tuesday. So gives people enough time to all get staked. Currently, we don't have. I don't believe we even have. Are we at 50% yet? No, we're at 40% staked. So we do want to give people that opportunity to get as many people staked as possible, so everybody is benefiting from what they all were a part of. And regardless of what project they're from, we're all unified now. We're all in this together, right?
Yes, sir.
So we all need to win together moving forward. It's going to be something that isn't going to wait until next month. It will get dispersed on the 10th. I would say, I'm sorry, did I say the 10th? I meant the 12th, sorry. June or July, I'm back in June, July. July 12th, it will get dispersed probably around noon PST. So we'll just make sure that once it's dispersed and it's in the pool. So remember, you have to be staked
to earn all rewards.
To earn the WBNB.
Yeah.
So please, if you're not staked, you've got until Tuesday to get staked. And if maybe you don't own as much pie as you'd like and you want to get positioned for a bigger portion, then it gives you an opportunity to move your things around and get set up for what's going to be coming Tuesday.
Good deal. Okay. Was there anything else that you wanted to share with the community? Looking forward for the rest of the week.
No, I'm excited about this migration. The migration is now here. It has happened.
Easy, it's seamless.
Felt very seamless. Felt like it was a success for a lot of people. I'm very excited about where the team's at. I mean, we don't talk about our feelings about the team very often. But
that migration tool was another win for the team.
Oh, huge.
Super easy. All done in house, and it turned out really well.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I don't think there's much that isn't done in house anymore.
Not a whole lot. No.
Not much. I don't even think, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
No.
Anyhow, so that's big. We got some great team members that have stepped up over the last month and a half that have done a phenomenal job working with the community, working in unison with us, making day to day even much faster and much more efficient, much more effective. A lot of new development people, a lot of new website UI UX people. So everything that has happened, I think Eric and I, just knowing all the steps that we've taken from day one to get to this point, it is such an exciting time. It really is, and I can't tell you guys from my perspective, knowing I'm that innovator guy. I'm the guy that comes up with the business structure, the development phases, all those pieces, and comes up with these insane platform concepts that are very exciting, right? But Eric is the guy that takes my visions and his visions, because my vision starts and then he adds to it or subtracts from it, and then we put it together in combination, and then he gets the team to get it to actually become a reality. And to see these things now start coming to a reality, it is such a blessing. It is such an amazing feeling, because really we all started with a purpose, and our purpose was to impact as many people in this world as possible, and that is for all sorts of different influences. It's not just crypto. It's not just adoption. It's not just going out there and building the biggest project that the community is the only people that win. It's the village. It's the people. It's humanity. It's getting into those places in Africa. I'm still not letting that go. We are going someday in the future when the time is right, and PiSwap becomes the pancake swap killer, and Unis. I mean, those two have no business doing what they're doing right now with what projects are doing inside their ecosystems in such an artificial way. When PiSwap is seen and it is believed, and it turns into the killer on the token side for what they've already established, and we've got the ability to build our teams on the ground in different countries. We're going to Africa. We're going to build monetary structures in places that don't have any. We're going to bring in kiosks. We're going to give education to these villages where these kids and these parents have dirt that they're trading essentially as money. They're trading rocks. They're trading sticks. They have no food. They barely have running water, if they have any. We're going to fix that. I mean, I don't know how people walk around on this planet and think that that's okay. So anyhow, very excited about where we're at. Legacy Friends, guys, look for an AMA tomorrow on Legacy Friends. I know it feels a lot like we've kind of waited. We couldn't do a lot of the marketing yet until we've got the contract. I am being told that the contract, Devin and Christine and the team on the NFT side are getting that wrapped up. We should have that today or tomorrow morning. Once I've got that, we're hitting the ground like an absolute bulldozer into the NFT space. It's going to be a lot of Twitter stuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on Twitter Spaces. Look forward to it. Please be there. If you're already a Legacy Friend holder, an Alpha holder, be a part of that. Get excited about it. Make sure that you're there to kind of work with all the new faces that we start driving in there. We are working with a second company that does specifically marketing for NFT projects. We do have a deal with them that they're going to also assist us on it. We've got a couple other influencers that we're working with on the NFT side. So I'm very excited about Genesis. Genesis is coming a couple weeks from now. I know some of you are excited about Metatopia. I just want to be clear, we're not waiting on Metatopia. We're doing this the right way. There's a difference between, rushing to get something done, and you don't have enough, you just don't have enough cement to finish the foundation on the house, right? And so in this case with Genesis, we haven't actually gone out and marketed at the level we want to build the awareness, to build the hype, to build the excitement behind Genesis Mint to actually go to minting phase at this point. The only delays that we dealt with were a couple things where we were making sure that we have our contract and compatibility. So those of you, and I'll talk more about this in the AMA tomorrow, I don't want to wait too much time in here, but the compatibilities between Legacy Friends and its contract and Metatopia and its contracts and being able to use those NFTs for staking and all that stuff, we were making sure. So there was so many different things. There was the debate that, is Metatopia going to utilize 4 different contracts to accommodate the different segments of the game, or are we going to have one big contract that is going to be the gaming side of it, and it's going to be built around 1-on-1? So there was a lot of those little things that our development team is just doing all the diligence to make sure that it is done the right way. Because listen, on those games, anytime you're staking, gas is an issue. What level you're on the Ethereum chain is an issue. So you want to make sure we're at the lowest level of gas for staking and unstaking and harvesting and things like that, similar to what we do on the BSC side. So we're not having any, major crazy. In order to engage with the game, it's going to cost you 0.25 ETH every time. We don't want that. We want it to engage with the game. It might cost you 0.005 or 0.00, 7 ETH. To stake or to unstake or something like that.
We'll see where it shakes out.
That and it could be higher or lower, but our goal is to make sure that it's the lowest. So we were just making sure we had all our ducks in a row, because this isn't something that we take lightly. Especially, we're going to be attracting a whole new audience, and these are people that don't know anything about DevTeamSix, anything about the Pi project, anything about Legacy Friends. They're going to be learning Legacy Friends for the first time. I know a lot of you are going to be excited to be in Legacy Friends room and Discord. And yes, the Legacy Friends Discord will continue. It is token gated to friends only. There's a friends only room in there. It will continue. And I know a lot of you guys like to go in there and, you kind of talk about the different tokens and what they could be used for and minting additional characters and things like that. I'm going to walk you through everything tomorrow, so you guys have a really solid picture of July and how Legacy Friends is going to work, and Metatopia when to expect it. So that being said, that's all I've got to say.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for showing up to our bi-weekly Dt6 AMA. We will see you tomorrow. We'll drop the Legacy Friends Discord link in the announcement, so you can join over there. You can verify your Legacy Friend alphas there, get connected with your friends. See us in the AMA there tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your night. Peace.